Thank you for joining Catholic Gen X, where Pope Leo refuses to be a guest on the show since Tom is a Cubs fan.
True story.
I don't think that's
I
true.
asked when I was there in June.
No. This is going to be a hot take. All reasonable White Sox fans, which I would think His Excellency Pope Leo XIV is a reasonable White Sox fan. All reasonable White Sox fans readily acknowledge the superiority of the Chicago Cubs.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Well, maybe His Holiness just doesn't like it. His Excellency, like he's just a normal bishop. No.
I'm sorry, I don't know. Next, you guys are going to be like in the army, and you're going to have these stripes on it, and I don't know what they mean.
They already have different hats, so...
You know what? You made me think of a question. I hope I've not asked this on here before. I have known priests in the past who have a real problem with when the Knights of Columbus take part in a mass and they have their swords in the church. Does that bother you?
It does.
Really?
Yeah, but
you pacifist.
No. Let me explain. It bothers me that they crowd in the main aisle and then raise, if not sharp, heavy metal objects in palsied hands above my head and expect me to run through the gauntlet. Okay. That bothers me.
You might get a haircut, though.
So it's not the having a sword.
No.
So if you had a fourth degree Knights of Columbus Council that was made up of like the Italian, guard, the model looking. Yeah. No, I'm talking about the guys who are on the street with the machine guns.
Oh, the Carabinieri.
The one that look like models.
Right.
So if it was a whole group of them holding up swords, you'd be okay with that?
Oh, totally fine.
Okay.
And if the aisle was wide enough.
Okay.
Tom, you just got back from a trip to Ireland.
Yeah. We were in Ireland for about a week. It reiterated what I've always felt. You go to Mass in a foreign land and you expect something different, and it's just the same thing.
Yeah. Especially because it was in English, right?
Right. Yeah, it was kind of interesting, though. The priest, it was a little bit of a different setup, but the priest was not Irish, he was English, which struck me as...
What century is this? Is this allowed?
Yeah.
Right.
He's still he thinks the oppression is still on and he's hanging around.
Yeah.
But yeah, we saw some cool stuff. The thing that's a little bit challenging there is you'll see, in Rome you see a beautiful church and it's Catholic.
Right.
And in Germany, you can pick out the Catholic churches. I guess it's a little harder there because you do have the Lutherans. In Ireland, it's hard. Like and some of them maybe were Catholic but aren't. And so my boys, who are quick to throw the term heretic around, were very adamant that we did not go in churches that were not Catholic, especially
missing out.
Especially if they had been Catholic. So we did not go in St. Patrick's. Now, to be fair, St. Patrick's was asking what I thought was a little bit of an aggressive price to enter.
What's aggressive?
I don't remember. But there were 6 of us, so it was going to be what I thought was a high price times 6. And they're over there wanting to burn us at the cross if we went in. So we ended up not going in.
So the cost of it, is that where you started to come up with the idea that Ireland is the Connersville of Western Europe? Or?
Right.
You're going to go there someday, and you're going to be like, damn it, he was right.
These are my people.
Well,
yeah.
I had a really good thought, and you just totally ruined it, John.
So
the thing that I found, this was one thing I found interesting. You didn't ask this.
Yeah.
I was shocked at how culturally Catholic the Irish are. Like, they are very open about, I'm Catholic, but haven't been to Mass in 20 years.
Right.
And it's just, that's just it. That's just how
that's
it is.
Italians too, though, right? A lot of Europe?
Yeah.
I feel like the Italians, though, try to put on the appearance that they're still practicing Catholics.
Yeah, you can hear it in, it always amuses me, you can hear it in how they swear, right? Like, are they swearing by the Blessed Mother, or, the French are, of course, notorious for the Sacre Bleu, and all the, everything sacred is profaned in France. And but that just shows how deep the cultural identity lies, even though it's not necessarily an active identity.
Yeah. The one thing I will say about the Irish in Ireland that makes them different from the Irish in the U.S., they are a super friendly people.
Well, I mean, the Irish in the U.S. are not unfriendly.
Some of them are.
I'm not very friendly. Yeah.
People don't just hand out nicknames like the Angry Irishman.
You have to earn that.
That's a fair point. I can't be anything else. Well, we actually have something new for the podcast we never had before.
Oh.
This is unfortunate that our listeners can't see this, but Tom made a delicious drink for us. Not to steal the thunder, but one of our favorite listeners gave us something very special. Biff, if you remember from the Christmas special, wrote in the letter, talked about Star Wars and so on too.
Yeah.
This is the...
Oh!
Love it.
So I was kind of
This
confused
is Biff's
on...
mobile cantina.
I was confused on what was going on here. I thought you found that that's really from him.
He made it.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought when you sent a picture of it earlier, I thought you had been out somewhere and found this.
That's what I thought too, and I thought it was just a coincidence.
Right.
He actually made this.
He made this. So we may go blind. There could be antifreeze in
Is
here
it
or something.
limoncello? What is it?
It's a margarita, it looks like.
It is.
Okay.
So what you guys have to know about Biff is he made, I think it was gin in his bathtub in college. Does that sound familiar?
That's how
to
some
you?
people
That
clean
would
their
sound you
bathtubs.
blind.
So.
Cheers. Sláinte.
To Biff.
That's right.
No, it'd be
That's launched in Ireland. Oh.
right. No, in Spanish it'd be I almost said Prost. That's not right.
Chin chin.
Very nice, Biff. That's a real
That
treat.
is
tasty.
good.
Yeah.
Well, you should have said that before I made pint-sized Aperol Spritz.
But then it wouldn't be a surprise. See, we have like drinks from around the world. We have Italy, we have Central America, we have Mexico.
Explain to me how El Biffo's mobile cantina came to be. I gotta tell you, if you told me that wasn't him, I would believe you. But you saying it's him, I believe that as well.
No. It's quite the mustache on that picture.
It's a mighty mustache.
So tell us about El. Is this only? Is it small batch? Is it artisanal? What?
I can't really speak to that. My lovely wife just brought some home and was saving it for the podcast.
Okay.
And she was saying last week, she's like, "Hey, let's open up Biff's mobile cantina." It's like, no, it's for the podcast. It's for the guys. I'm going to save you some. And
So I thought. So you just came back too. You were in Florida, right?
was.
Not really anything interesting there because you've been going to the same place since before you were born. I thought this was something you had in Florida. Did you think the same thing?
Yes.
Well, I mean, Biff's very well known on the east coast of Florida. So he's a rocket scientist by day, but he's a bit of a spirit by night.
He's big with the octogenarians on the Space Coast.
Yeah. Well, here locally we have big shout to Gen X. I don't know if you read this. The Brickyard 400's coming up, and then we have Cookie Monster as a Grand Marshal.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
But Cookie Monster, like everything in this world, has gone a little soft. Cookies are now just a sometimes food. You should also eat carrot sticks and celery.
Boo.
Is that really what he
Boo.
does?
Yeah, remember I have the youngest child, so I have the most
Right.
recent cookie, and this is 10 years ago. Yeah.
So I guess he's not gluttonous anymore, but very sensible, and his kids, that's exactly what they want more of, right? Sensibility and
Right. I heard Oscar lives in a recycling bin now, not a trash can.
Well, I can't speak to that.
It's true. That's what I heard. I have no idea.
So what happened to Snuffy? Is he endangered now? And
He probably
he's on
is.
some list, and
He's on the endangered list.
So I thought I would bring this up about. So I was out having dinner with friends, and actually some good listeners, from this show, faithful fans. They write in and call in. Not call in, but write in. So talking to them about essentially apologetics.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So somehow we got on the conversation. I don't remember how. And this is where we need Father Peter. So I was talking about the.
Not to be invited to dinner, but if he happens to come by for a podcast, we'll ask him that.
That's right.
That's the takeaway.
Well, at least it's better than me just calling you on the phone and saying, "Hey, we're at dinner, having a great time. Can we ask you a quick question?"
It is.
So is it the 5 precepts of the church?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are they?
5 precepts of the church are...
Sorry, John put out Pub Mix right before we
Right.
started recording, and the fat kids
Well, not
can't
at
keep their
first,
hands
no.
out of Pub Mix. Well,
Put your heart out, Cookie Monster.
Attend Mass every Sunday and Holy Day of Obligation. Go to confession, a sacramental confession, at least once a year. receive the Eucharist at least once a year, preferably during the Easter season.
Okay.
Support the work of the church, so either financially or time, or ideally some of both, right? And then engage in the corporal acts of mercy.
Corporal acts of mercy. That was the one I forgot.
Everybody forgets about the acts of mercy.
Yeah, I remember the tithing.
Go
though.
pick a couple weeds at the cemetery. That counts.
Yeah. Or attend a funeral.
So this is where it got interesting. So,
What if it's a funeral online?
No.
so can you watch a funeral online and go in your backyard and then pull a couple weeds and call that even? So my understanding was that these are the 5 things to do as Catholics, the minimum
Right.
to get to heaven.
If you do that, you've got a pretty assured
Whoa.
shot of going to heaven.
And not be in a
You
state of
two-
like mortal sin.
No. You two were very clear with me earlier this year. Heaven is not the goal. Purgatory is the goal.
Well,
Fair.
You shamed me.
I don't think shaming is possible for you.
Oh, it's far more possible than you think.
it was enough you remember.
Right. So if you do this, you will for sure end up in purgatory,
okay.
if not heaven.
Okay.
Right.
And if you're in a state of grace when
Right.
you die.
Right.
So this is where it became interesting. So first of all, I was talking with my friends, and it was like, I never heard this at all growing up. Like all of us respective at the table that night. 13 years of Catholic education.
Right.
So learning about this in more recent years, which is very good to know, right? But then the discussion started to become of where, well then, what if, my great Aunt Susie, didn't do did 4 out of 5 of those things? Or what if they were baptized, but they were very good people? So it became, I think, really very interesting.
Yeah.
This isn't what you asked,
Yes.
but I think this is where I always feel like the way I'm reading a book by an apologetic right now, and he's talking about how Protestants just don't understand tradition. And I think this is where it gets tough for them because tradition is so important to us that the traditions we rely on here and embrace here are not the same traditions that they necessarily rely on and embrace in Ireland, which are not the same traditions they use in Italy.
Well, but the 5 precepts of the church are in the catechism of the Catholic Church.
I understand.
Right. So these are universal traditions.
But like John had a question last time. Somebody wrote in about saying how you could 3 prayers you could say for somebody in purgatory.
Yeah.
That's a tradition, right? That came from his
Well, yeah,
Italian
but-
American grandmother.
yeah, but these are not traditions.
No,
these
right,
are the
right,
teachings
right.
of the church. So these are the same.
Right, I understand. But what I'm saying is he's asking about Aunt Susie, who did 4 or 5
Doesn't matter.
of these.
Doesn't matter. These
Okay.
are the 5 things of the church. And this is not like pious practice. This is what the church says. If you do this, you can count yourself a good Catholic. And I think the problem that people run into is how far can I tempt God's mercy? Right? Like, oh, she was a good person, which is nonsense if you're not going to Mass regularly.
But
you, by definition, you're not a good person.
could Italian tradition fulfill one of those pillars?
No.
Where Hispanic can be like, no, that doesn't count.
No, these are the 5 universal precepts of the church. This is the teaching of the church from the age of the church fathers to today.
No.
It's in the catechism. There's no substitute for these 5 things. To skip any of this is just Russian roulette with our souls, right? And that's where I get, you can hear me, I'm irritated, right? Because it's Russian roulette with our souls. Well, it's also nonsense when this is what the church says and people say, well, my tradition or my culture. No, that doesn't matter. The teaching of the church is available to everybody and has been for 2,000 years. Substitute this as an act of mercy is fine. Are you doing acts of mercy is the question. The question is not, well, how does your culture look on this or that as an act of mercy? The fact is, most people in this world who call themselves Catholics are not doing anything as an act of mercy. And they're not going to Mass, and they're not tithing, and they're not... I get...
Well, so the question become, and this is where I was asking ignorance, it's a bit of where, where did the 5 precepts come from? It's like, well, the magisterium, these are the teaching of the church. Well, then who made that up? And it's like,
Right.
so, which is a question.
It's a question.
I think it's, right, circular logic. So, and then obviously, I don't know. So that part of it too. And then it started to become interesting because it's like, so this.
Well, but most of these, in some form, are said by Christ. And if not directly by Christ, in scriptures. The letter to the Hebrews says, do not forsake the gathering together of believers, i.e., go to Mass on Sunday, right? I mean, Christ certainly, repeatedly, the widow's mite in the temple, other acts of mercy, commandment by Christ, right? You could say that he never commanded us to go to confession, but then why did he tell his apostles that whatever they forgave on earth would be forgiven in heaven, right? So,
Or Peter, do you love me?
so all of these are based in Scripture, even if you have to have kind of an eye looking out for them.
But what happens when it's something where, like plausible deniability, kind of thing, where if I'm saying that right, they don't know about God's justice, is true, but if it's something where the ignorant part of it,
Right.
it was different than stupidity. I know better than I chose otherwise, versus I didn't really know and I thought I was doing it right.
Yeah, I mean, there are just a lot of poorly formed Catholics in the world.
There
I
are,
am.
but they have a responsibility to seek out that knowledge, and never has it been easier than today. You can put into Google, what do Catholics believe you need to do to go to heaven, and maybe half the answers will be correct, but half out of a billion answers is a lot of right answers.
So, you're right, you can Google anything. Am I the only one that every year or so wastes 3 hours of my life because some night I will fall down this internet wormhole of going to read what these fire and brimstone anti-Catholic ministers? I love to go read that stuff.
No,
I
I'm
just
not.
love it.
No, I don't do that. But the teens do it a lot. 'Cause they come and they're like, have you ever heard of this preacher? And why does he hate Catholics? And yes.
The other part of the discussion led to, because I know this part of what the Catechism says, of where, so if you're Protestant, or maybe you're just somebody who is in the middle of nowhere in the world and has little to no access to technology, has never heard of Jesus. I mean, the Catechism says you can still, God's mercy, still can prevail in that part of it too.
Yes. I think they have a better shot of getting into heaven than most Catholics do. Because their responsibility is different for them. Especially for the kind of idealized pagan in the middle of the Amazon, right? Who has no connection to the outside world, or very little connection to the outside world, and so they just don't have the resources to learn about God.
So then that puts on us that we actually have a responsibility as far as apologetics.
Oh, clearly. I mean, that's Christ,
Yeah.
right? The Great Commission,
Yes.
right?
So, which I think is actually some part of, what I was talking about with my friends that we're not intending to.
Right.
And then they were all like, oh man, we're screwed. It's like, well, thanks. Like, we're not going to buy the appetizer for you next time.
Right.
And so then it came down to, again, ignorance. But if we have a responsibility as Catholics to know, then we do need to seek. And if we do know, we need to proclaim.
So the book I'm reading right now, written by an apologetic, is Crossing the Tiber. And the Tiber is a metaphor for...
Becoming Catholic.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's really, the whole book is set up to how to sit down with your Protestant friends, refute their arguments one by one. And honestly, there are times it almost seems like browbeating them into becoming Catholic. And I'm reading this just because I like I always enjoy anything that helps me understand better how to refute common misconceptions about Catholicism. But I read this and I think, am I really called as a Catholic to go out and try to evangelize and convert all my Protestant friends?
Well, I think there's separate issues at play there, Tom. I think that, we are called to proclaim the truth, the good news, but that is a separate action from convert. Like, that's the work of God. But I think, St. Peter writes that you should always be prepared to give a reason, an apologia for your faith. So I think that's our responsibility. But I don't know. I don't get too much into the browbeating and the winning of arguments as much as...
I'm sure that the author would take offense to me saying browbeating. But he's telling you kind of step by step, and he refers to it as arguments at times. He's like, this is what they'll say, and this is what you come back with.
Right.
And I'm like, that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't know that we need to argue, but as much as just say, this is what we believe, and leave it at that. Especially if they can be respectful enough to try not to argue me into believing whatever they believe.
There was very much an example of that in Pints with Aquinas, where Matt Fradd was talking to a very well-known Protestant, and they had a very good conversation. Yeah. And I think that, to Father Peter's point, some of it is, it's not so much to convince, it's just to speak the truth. Because then it's something where, people who don't want to listen aren't going to hear it anyway, if they're already convinced. But I think if you can have a civil, reasonable argument or discussion, right, I think that's good.
But, I'm fairly convinced that if Catholics would just live the 5 precepts of the church, we'd be so attractive as a group that we wouldn't need to argue.
I do. It's the Portuguese precepts.
Right. There are no such thing.
Yeah. Tom, though, I don't know about you. I think part of it with me is where I feel ill-equipped in some ways, because I don't think that I don't need to know everything, but you want to have at least pretty solid understanding, I think, of what you're saying. And I think a lot of it is not so much just to Protestants. I think it's just talking to Catholics.
Well, you're right. And it's funny. A guy I work with who also is a lawyer, we talk about this a lot. And I think most lawyers, we are trained to understand we don't know everything. Mm-hmm. And to be cognizant of identifying where our knowledge gaps are. And I think the more you become an informed Catholic, the more you develop that sense of how little you know, mm-hmm. which for me makes it very difficult to engage people because I'm aware of how much I don't know. Does that?
It does. Which I think to that point, not knowing is actually good. It's better to say you don't know than to pretend you do, and to give bad information. For my friends, I was worried that I was giving them something bad. I got one wrong. I forgot about the works of mercy. But I think that part of it, plus when it's something that's a passionate or emotional discussion, which is faith, salvation, and so on too, beliefs, living like your practices and so on, it's tough because a lot of that's on the spot and you're trying to, to think things through and respond, and then also your own emotions or other people's too.
What I think would be interesting to know, and there's no way to do this, I think it would be interesting to know cradle Catholic priests versus adult convert priests like yourselves, because as a cradle Catholic, you can't help. You're raised with these things that you hear from Aunt Susie and Grandma Sylvia, and it may or may not be right, but it still becomes part of your, and you don't have that, right? No. Like, you came in with a clean sheet.
Yes. And also, I have no sentimentality over Aunt Susie's favorite prayer.
Right, I understand, but this still. So the lady who did my first communion. I still remember being taught you never use your teeth on the Eucharist. That you kind of let it dissolve on your tongue, right. And I've had so many people tell me that's not right. But it's still in here, sure. Right? Every time I receive communion, it's still in here.
That's okay. Sister who taught me OCA said we didn't believe in confession anymore, so I didn't know.
Wow, that explains some other comments I've heard from you.
That ain't good.
No. I go to confession.
That's not what I meant. No. I'm not going to out you on the podcast. We'll talk
I do have a bias about some nuns.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's tough. I think that we do need to be read. I think most importantly, this could be something where some of our listeners, this could be the first time they've heard it. This isn't new. This is centuries old, but to me, it's more recent history.
I think you can read it on your own. You can engage in whatever your parish does for ongoing education or formation. I mean, I think we live in a time, the diocese offers programs. We live in a time of an almost embarrassment of riches to learn more about our faith. Podcasts, whatever. And we just need to take advantage of that as best we can. But that's not technically a precept of the church.
If you think about the precepts, though, I mean, people listening, and now that we're talking about this, that's not that bad.
No.
I mean, for eternity, that ain't bad.
The works of mercy include, like speaking to others, be out of concern for their soul. But yeah, but you as long as you're engaged in the works of mercy, you're okay.
That's where then it started to our discussion was, well, that's the minimum that we just have to do it. But then, so if you're a try hard and you work a little bit harder, you just got to get like another level.
Right. Well, Aquinas says you can be in closer to God, but he does not explain how your bliss closer into God is better than your bliss a few rows back.
So it's kind of the opposite of Dante's Inferno.
Exactly. Intentionally. Dante wrote it intentionally flipped.
Oh.
Sorry.
Dante had lots of bones to pick when he wrote that.
He did with
So
a lot of
many.
people.
That was a score-settling poem.
Imagine if Dante were alive today and he could have a podcast.
Oh, mercy.
I bet he should be Irish too.
First of all, the whole thing would be in rhyme.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it'd be like, it would have to be called the airing of the grievances, right?
So we do have a listener question.
Wait, somebody else wrote in?
We do. We have fans. Well, we
Is
just
this
have
the
interested
same
people.
Is this a repeat?
Is this the same person?
I can't violate confidentiality. Father Peter,
A yes/no
psychologist.
question is not violating confidentiality.
This question had to do with the Feast of Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
Listener writes in, before the second reading and after the second reading and before the gospel,
Yeah.
somebody sang a solo for 5 minutes. What is that?
That's a sequence. The form of chant or music there is called a sequence. It's optional on Corpus Christi or Pentecost, but not optional on Easter.
Is that like a litany, Tom?
No, I do not put that in the same category as a litany. No, I would be fine. I remember this happening at Mass, and I think, I don't remember this before.
Did they do it on Corpus Christi?
I don't remember where I was, but wherever I was, yes, they did.
Did they? Were you in Ireland?
Well, if you were at that Radtrad parish on the east side,
They would have done it.
They would have done it, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, now Tom receives every time in the tongue and kneeling.
You don't think we did it at St. Jude?
I don't think I was at Jude for Corpus Christi this year.
I was. We didn't do it.
Out on one of your on one of your boondoggles?
I think I was at One Bread, One Cup.
Well, we covered a lot of ground
We
today.
did,
Yeah,
yeah.
Father Peter fired up. When you give him some more of El Bifo's mobile cantina.
So, I don't know if this is the first time we've ever mentioned St. Jude by name, but we did mention it tonight.
Yeah.
And so I had a fellow parishioner come up to me after Mass Saturday. I think you were standing there. And he said, you guys have to be super famous on the South Side. There's no way you can walk into Gallagher's and pay for a beer yourself. So, I'm just proposing that if that many people are really listening, maybe we should never have to pay for a beer at Gallagher's ever
Hard
again.
Catholic Gen X.
Now, to be fair, John and I don't go to Gallagher's that much. Some of us go there a lot, but some of us don't go there very much.
I go there a lot.
He's
Yeah.
well known. I mean, when he walks in, they know.
The only
what
time he
needs.
wears a collar.
Brutal.
Thank you for listening, Catholic Gen X. Be sure to write in, email catholicgenx@gmail.com, letters at P.O. Box 17333, Indianapolis 46217, or feel free, Biff, to mail us some more booze there too.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.